The Samoan people are a Polynesian ethnic group of the Samoan Islands, sharing genetics, language, history and culture. Due to colonialism, the home islands are politically and geographically divided between the country of Samoa, official name Independent State of Samoa, and American Samoa, an unincorporated territory of the United States. Samoans living in Samoa in 2006 were estimated at 188,000. The majority of ethnic Samoans now reside in other countries, primarily in the United States, New Zealand and Australia. Migration. Although the Samoan natives have long claimed to be the indigenous people of their islands, holding firm to the belief that Samoans were birthed by special creation in Samoa, it has been theorized by many linguists and anthropologists, based on linguistic commonalities as well as archaeological findings, that migrants from Southeast Asia arrived in the Samoan Islands approximately 3,500 years ago, settling in what has come to be known as Polynesia further to the east. This approximation is based on the lapita pottery that has been dated to the time. It is possible, as the natives suggest, that the Samoan Islands were settled sometime before 1000 BC and that the original settlement predates the arrival of those to whom the pottery was culturally relevant. Furthermore, the Samoans have developed language, culture, and social practice most divergent from the other ethnic groups associated with the lapita pottery and the term Austronesia. Early contact with Europeans was established in the 18th century. Christianity was formally introduced with the arrival of L.M.S. Christian missionaries in August 1830. During the early 20th century, the Samoan Islands were partitioned by Germany, Great Britain and the USA. Tutuila and Nauru Islands were claimed by the USA and later joined by the Kingdom of Maine to become the current territory of American Samoa. The Western Islands became German Samoa. In 1914, New Zealand forces captured the islands from Germany, thus becoming Western Samoa. Western Samoa regained its independence on January 1, 1962. In 1997 it formally changed its name to Samoa. Culture. Tattooing. Traditional Samoan tattoo (PEA) malu demonstrate the strong ties many Samoans feel for the culture. Samoans have practiced the art of tattooing men and women for over 2,000 years. To this day, a man's tattoo extensively covers from mid-back down the sides and flanks to the knees. A woman's tattoo is not as extensive or heavy. The geometric patterns are based on ancient designs that often denote rank and status. The VAA, for example, stretches across a man's mid-back. Samoan oral tradition generally recognizes that two Fijian women, Tarema and Tilafaiga, introduced the practice of tattooing. Before the arrival of Christian missionaries, starting in 1830, all Samoan males got a traditional tattoo. Though the early missionaries did not succeed in outlawing the practice, they eventually succeeded in refocusing the custom on the sons of chiefs. In Samoa's cultural past, most males were tattooed between the ages of 14 to 18, when it was determined they had stopped growing, so the designs would not stretch and suffer in beauty. Today, there has been a strong revival of traditional tattooing in the past generation, not only in Samoa but throughout Polynesia, often as a symbol of cultural identity. Tattoo. The Samoan word for tattoo has a number of meanings, including correct or rightness. It also signifies the correct quadrangular figures in reference to the fact that Samoan tattoo designs do not include circular lines, although other Polynesian tattoo motifs do. Early Englishmen mispronounced the word tattoo and borrowed it into popular usage as tattoo. Traditional tattooing is a painful process. The Samoan tattoo master dips his cutting tools into black ink made from the soot of burnt candle nut shells and then punctures designs into the skin. The cutting tool consists of a short piece of bamboo or light wood with a piece of tortoise shell bound at right angles at one end. A little bone comb is bound to the lower broad end of the tortoise shell. The larger the comb, the greater the area on the skin is covered with fewer strokes. The master uses a small mallet to repeatedly tap a short-handled instrument. The process takes days and is sometimes partially accomplished over longer periods, with recuperation in between. Tattoo designs have changed to include freehand symbols such as the carver bowl representing hospitality, the characterization of the Samoan house, or thail signifying kinship, emblems of nature, shells, fish, birds, waves, centipedes, and the traditional geometric lines and angles of different lengths and sizes. Music. Modern pop and rock have a large audience in Samoa, as do several native bands. These bands have abandoned most elements of Samoan traditional music, though there are folky performers. Recently, the population has seen a resurgence of old Samoan songs, remixed in the style of Hawaiian reggae but with some traditional elements, such as the use of the pate and old chord structure. Initially in Samoan music, there were just two instruments in use: the pate, a hollowed-out log drum that comes in various sizes, and the fala, a rolled-up mat beaten with sticks. In addition to this was the human voice. This limited range of instrumentation had no effect on the importance of music in Samoan life. Because there was no written language, many stories and legends were propagated through song, and the complex rhythms from the pate are essential in the performance of many Samoan dances. In fact, in many dances the dancers themselves add to the rhythm by clapping the hands, and dependent upon the way in which the hand is held produce a range of different sounds. Two instruments were developed that are now synonymous with Samoan music: the cello and the ukulele. The cello is a stringed instrument made from a broomstick, or similar object, attached to a large box, bucket or other object that acts as a sounding board. A single length of string joins the top of the stick to the box, which is plucked to produce a sound similar to that of a bass. The ukulele is a small guitar-like instrument but with only 4 strings. It can be found in two forms, one which is like a miniaturized guitar, the other where the body is made from half a coconut shell. Western string instruments such as guitars are widely available across the Pacific Islands, with many bands performing and recording acoustic and amplified music in Samoa since the 1970s. Younger generations continue to perform in string bands as well as gravitate towards genres such as rap, R&B, gospel and soul. The nearly 3 decades of Samoan involvement in street dance and rap music in the United States has significantly impacted cultural production in places where Samoans settled, particularly New Zealand. Polynesian Mystic, a New Zealand hip-hop outfit with several Polynesian members, features Samoan Chinese member Saber Strixonpua. Buyate, RIBE, featuring several Samoan brothers from Carson, California, have been working with music since 1988. Buyate came into the hip-hop game at the same time as Ice Cube, and they often resemble the West Coast hip-hop style. Christian music. As with many South Pacific peoples, Samoans are heavily religious. Over 90% of all Samoans in Samoa and American Samoa are Christian, with over 90% of the population attending church weekly. Similarly, high numbers are seen across the Samoan diaspora. Samoan choral music is vital in every religion practiced by Samoans, and a number of prominent composers are well known among Samoans, whether composing simple hymns or a classical salamo, a multi-movement choral piece. Greece. The most notable of these are from the Ecclesia Far Poto Poto Grai Sui Samoa, the Ecclesia Far Poto Potoga Keresiano I Samoa, the Ecclesia Far Poto Potoga Keresiano I America Samoa, and the Ecclesia Metotisi I Samoa. The two pioneers and prolific composers of church music were H.C. Martikshipane Solomona and his nephew elder Dr. Ioslani Poesi. They began writing music for EFIS in 1941 and for the first EFIS hymnal Pasema Viiga Ila and also composed music for the EFKS, Catholic, and Methodist churches. Professor Ueta Solomona retired from the University of the South Pacific in 2008 and was one of the music committee members who composed music for the EFKS hymnal. Namalulu. Dr. Paul Poesi is currently serving EFKAS in Vasia and EFIS in Pago Pago as Minister of Music. He published his second hymn book Ole Pasefu Ila Rally dedicated to the EFKAS 25th anniversary. Flovent continues to write and record music for EFIS choir in Fagatogo. Dr. Polo Manuma and his father Viavia Manuma wrote music for their EFIS choir in Pago Pago. The music of all the above composers is published in the EFIS hymnal Pasema Viiga Ila a second edition. Samoan gospel music is a newer subgenre in the genre of Paselo. Heavily influenced by African American gospel, it is most heard in the Samoan Assemblies of God churches, although the style is very popular amongst youth groups in religions amongst Samoan people, known for its often upbeat and black gospel influence. Although originally most pieces were written for choir and piano or organ, electronic keyboards and synthesizers are very popular. Brass and orchestral accompaniment, though less common in early church music, are often specified by composers today. Typically though, Samoan Christian music is most commonly heard in the daily worship held by Samoan families around the world. In the Samoas this time is sacred as most villages and towns ban traffic in the streets during evening family worship. Families raise the voices in song without accompaniment, which can heard all throughout the village. Whether out of love for God or out of unbreakable tradition, families sing the hymns of old and newer songs of praise. Dance. Traditionally, Samoans have incorporated dance in their customs. The original Samoan dance form is known to be one of the few areas of the culture which has not been heavily influenced by American tradition. The fire dance Oshiva AFI is a big part of the Samoan culture. The slap dance, performed by males, consists of fierce slapping of the body in rhythmic motion to drum beats. It is called Whātaupati. Other Samoan dances include the Mo'olu'ulu, which is an all-female dance and is more elegant. The Taualuga is a dance for the chief's son or daughter. When a girl does Taualuga, she is called the Taupa'u. When a boy does a Taualuga, he is called a Manaya. Sports. Although Samoan culture does not have anything to do with European organized rugby, most notably Brian Lima and Manu Samoa, the Samoan national rugby union team. Samoan New Zealander Tana Umaga was the captain of the New Zealand All Blacks. Despite its small population, the island of American Samoa produces a disproportionately large number of world-class American football players. Samoan Mosi Tatupu was a member of NFL team, the New England Patriots. Samoan Troy Polamalu was a member of the NFL team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, until he retired after the 2014 football season. Marcus Mariota, the 2014 Heisman Trophy winner and former Oregon Ducks quarterback, is of Samoan descent through his father. There are a vast amount of people of Samoan descent in the wrestling industry, such as Dwayne Johnson, of Samoan descent through his mother, is an American actor and semi-retired professional wrestler of WWE. Other WWE superstars of Samoan descent include Roman Reigns, who is a three-time WWE champion, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Hall of Famers Rikishi and Yokozuna, and the late Umaga.